You've built a very rich life, not just financially, but in your marriage and your family, your friendships, your client relationships. You've built a rich life. I'm curious, what are the three things that poor people do that rich people don't do? Or you can reverse it. What are three things rich people do that poor people don't do?
Well, I can tell you, they have the intuition of how they judge people, because everything is about the whole intuition part, right? You're sitting there, who you choose to befriend, who you choose to have relationships with, you know, and how you water those relationships. Because if you want to have a relationship together and it's just take, nothing's going to happen. I remember I'm a 24-year-old kid. I don't know nothing about business. I've done some stuff in sales, but I really don't know nothing about business. I'm a 22-year-old kid. I go and I take this guy, I go to a job interview at the advertising group. Shout out to Jamie Hebb. And I watch this guy. He interviews me. I'm at that time working at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, but I'm trying to see what else I want to do. Okay, so I got started the day before 9/11, but I'm still interviewing. I sit with them in the interview, and the way he interviewed me, I sat there and I said, I will never work for this company because it's just not what I want to do, because they were selling Xerox machines and business to business. I said, but I want to have a relationship with you. I said, do you mind if I get your business card? He said, yeah, sure. I said, okay, great. So he gives me his business card. Year and a half later, I get a job. I'm doing good at this point. I'm making some income, 23 years old. I call him up and I said, Jamie, you don't remember me, but I want to take you out to lunch and I want to pick your brain if you don't mind. I told you a year and a half ago that I wanted to do this with you. And you said yes. He says, great, let's do it. So we go to Macaroni Grill, somewhere in Culver City, right around here, like Victory, Overland, somewhere around that area. So we go there. He brings this drop-dead gorgeous girl that works for him. I think her name is Natalia or Natasha or something with N, right? And she's beautiful. Short skirt, perfect legs, flawless, beautiful face. She's sitting right there, and I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to woo me to go be one of his sales guys. And I said, look, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but I have no interest in you. My interest is in you. Is it fair if we just talk business for an hour? He says, yes. So I went, okay? Now, at this point, he's making $1 million. I'm making 50 grand a year. I'm a nobody, okay? We have lunch again. I'm taking notes. I offer to pay. He doesn't let me pay. He pays. He says, I got it. No problem. When I leave, I send him a book. We had this meeting that we did every 3 to 6 months together at this restaurant, Argentinian restaurant called Bamboo, which they had this beautiful soup. Every time we would have dinner with him or we'd go to lunch, I would always send him a book. 10 years later, he says, every time I meet with Patrick, a book is on its way, okay? So I value the relationship. I asked him, what do you need from me? How can I bring things to you? Years later, he gives me one referral. That one referral he gave me helped me open up Florida. If he doesn't give me that referral, that Florida office wouldn't have been opened up, right? One contact opens up a whole state, okay? So another relationship I can tell you about is I was going to churches and I said, let me see what's going to happen with these churches. And I'm going to churches and I'm going to these different places. And I'm studying Scientology. I'm studying LDS. I'm studying Jehovah, Judaism. I'm studying everything. At this point in the game, I was obsessed with religion. So all I want to do is study everything about religion, right? And I'm 24, 25. I eventually find this church called Shepherd of the Hills, which is ran by a guy named Dudley Rutherford. And I go to this place. And I'm an atheist, so it's not like I'm going in there. I'm just trying to see what's going on over here because I'm just trying to learn. I'm not trying to do it. I go to this place and I'm like, okay, I like this guy's style. You typically go to church. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to know I'm going to hell. I know I'm going to hell. I just want to know I have a shot in heaven. You know what I'm saying? So this guy's energy was, you have a shot at heaven, right? I'm like, okay, cool. All right. This might try out. I feel a little better, right? I know the screw ups what I've done in my life. Let me see, maybe I got a shot over here. So I go there, and I'm sitting in the back. I watch him once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I'm like, wow, I like this guy. So then I sent him an email, a little bit of an arrogant email, but I'll tell you what the email was. I sent him an email and I said, listen, my name is Patrick Bet-David. You don't know who I am, but I'm going to be somebody in the world. And I know you are somebody in the world, but I promise you, if you give me your time, I will always bring value to you. Wow. It will not be a waste of your time, okay? I'm not doing anything at that time at 25. I got a small little office operation, nothing crazy. We go have a lunch together at Black Angus off Canoga or Topanga. We go to Black Angus, we sit down, we talk. After the meeting is over with, I said, what can I do for you? Nothing there. We go out again, what can I do for you? Nothing there. What can I do for you? Nothing there. Eventually, he says something happened with my son at Moore Park basketball, And I made a phone call to the coach, and I spoke to the guy, and anonymously, because I didn't like the way this whole situation was handled. He probably doesn't even know the story. I know the people may know, but he may not even know the story. So I make the phone call. We get closer. He marries my wife. We change our wedding to Friday. It was set up on Saturday to Friday so he can wed us. Anyways, in 2008, 2009, 2008, he introduces me to Tom Ellsworth. You know how I talked about Tom earlier? He introduced me to Tom, okay? And Tom comes, okay? In 2009, he introduced me to Matt Sapala. Matt Sapala and Sheena, I got introduced to 09. They just got promoted this last week at West Palm Beach to the Chief Distribution Officer, PHP, right? He is now the CDO, okay? We've paid him in the first 6 months of the year over $1 million. They're doing very good at what they do in the business here. But if I don't have that contact and I water him what his needs are, not what I can take, if I give the needs I don't have those contacts. So I think too many times when, you build a relationship with somebody, it's immediately, what can I do, what can I, and by the way,
what can I get from you?
Yeah, and I remember how you were the first time we met. When we were done, you and I went to Earth Cafe with Jen, and I think we even went and looked at some furniture, and there was like a Google shop that we went there. I don't know if you remember that, right across from Earth Cafe. And you said, Pat, how can I help you? What do you need from me? What can I do for you?
It was on the corner after
exactly,
out.
Exactly. So we walked around, babe, she said, yeah, I really like this Lewis guy. I don't like this approach, how he is. That's the dynamic that you don't see behind closed doors. People may see School of Greatness, people may see the books, but behind closed doors, the context is about what can I do for you. So you asked 3 things. I'd say the biggest one is figure out ways to strengthen relationships and take them deeper, because you never know. Just like everybody thinks you're, one sale away or one opportunity away, you're one contact away from your life changing. If you start valuing your contact like a book of business, everything changes.
That's true. What I heard you say there was intuition, study, and relationships.
Sure, yeah.
Does that cover those kind of 3 things? And I think when you think about people that aren't making the money that they want and don't have a rich life, whether that be quality of life, they probably aren't discerning their decisions and being intuitive about who they should spend time with. They aren't researching more ideas and expanding their mind, and they aren't giving in those relationships. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think sometimes it's also not knowing what something could lead into. A guy one time came into Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, on a Harley Davidson bike, and he had tattoos, and he looked rough, very rough. No advisor would take him. He says, I'm looking for an advisor. No advisor would take this guy. Yeah, I need an advisor. And they're like, oh, there's a bank downstairs.
A financial advisor.
Financial advisor. Well, Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, Glendale, no one wants to take this guy.
Like, this guy's got no money.
Yeah, so the guy comes out, he sees, he says, oh, just give him to somebody else. I'm good. The guy in the corner office that has a couple $100 million under management, he leaves. Then the new guy takes him. Then the guy comes, I have $50 million to invest. He got an inheritance. That one account was $50 million.
Changed his life.
Changed his life.
Yeah.
And he put the 50, and the rookie broker got a $50 million money under management. You're getting 1 or 2 points on that. Life changing. So the
for
point
life.
For life.
Every year.
Every year. Generational wealth. We're not talking about like a small thing here. So you can't just sit there and look at relationships that you never know the potential of a contact. You have to know every contact could take you to some place that you don't know. It's like a movie. You don't know the next scene. So you can't just assume what that contact's going to lead into.
Yeah.
Sometimes the smallest contact can lead into something big.
One of the things I love about you, Patrick, is you remind me of my dad so much and my childhood. My dad, I think I told you, my dad was a life insurance salesman for 32 years until he got into a brain accident. He got in a car crash, and he's still alive today, but he had to stop working. And he also became an entrepreneur, launched the health insurance vertical in conjunction with Northwestern Mutual. And he does everything you do. And my whole business model and just the way that I live is based on what I witnessed him doing. And this was pre-social media, pre-internet.
Wow.
He would just remember names like nobody's business. He was so giving, so thoughtful, and he was always thinking in the long term. He wasn't like, how can I sell you now, but how can I give you now? He would do this every day. He would read the newspaper, and he would cut out the newspaper every day and write long letters and put it in envelopes and send it out to people that were clients and people that are not clients. If it was someone's kid in sports that, was, hey, they had their best game ever. Hey, I just wanted to send you this clipping of the newspaper, to just people in the community.
That's on a whole different level, though, man. That's incredible.
Handwritten letters, and just send it to them and say, hey, if I can ever help with anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of old school mentality, but he would always just show up for people, just take meetings to take them, and wasn't always trying to sell, but just trying to serve. And that's really kind of how I built my business early on. Was when I had nothing at all, I was just like, what can I learn from someone, and how can I ask them what they need, and then deliver on that need as fast as possible, and not ask for anything in return. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been able to grow, is because of the relationship building. You know, Ben, our producer, I met him 9 years ago when he was a student at Columbia Journalism School, getting a master's, right? And he was working on a documentary about handball. I was in handball at that time in New York City and really liked the way he made the documentary and followed his journey over the last 9 years, stayed in touch every year. We needed a head producer to really build our content. And I reached out to him, and the timing right, the sequencing was right, and we had the relationship where it made sense, at least for now. Maybe he leaves at some point, but it's been great so far in the last 4 months. And I think you never know where the relationship will go. Even if it didn't work out, it's still worth building relationships.
No question. Yeah.
Even if we never work together. Because you just never know who that person might introduce you to, who might say your name behind closed doors, where it unlocks some opportunity. You never know. So you remind me a lot of my dad.
Well, that's a big compliment,
yeah.
man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think if more people came from that place of how can I just care about people and help them solve their problems, you're going to gain a lot back in return long term, whether it's with that person or not. And you talk about money a lot on your show. And you have an amazing video about your top, I think it's your top 20 rules on money. I'm curious, since we're going into the rich-poor conversation, what would you say are the top 3 to 5 rules on money, if you could boil it down to 3 to 5?
It's a game. The number one rule is it's a game. You're playing a game. It's that simple. You know, if you look at it as a game, just like anything, you can get better at it, right? Like whatever game you play. If you play Uno, if you play Monopoly, if you play Clue, if you play
Fortnite.
Jenga, if you play Fortnite, if anything you play, you know, you're gonna get good. I remember in my time, I was playing Fester's Quest. I played Zelda. I used to play Final Fantasy 1, and I would play obviously Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but it was also, what was the Mario Kart? Is it Super Mario Kart? And you know how you would do the 3 jumps and then bam, it's going fast. And I would beat this time, 32 seconds. I was so proud of it, but I played it 50,000 times, right? So the game with money, it's exactly what it is. Once you learn how to play the game with money, then it has to do with timing, then it has to do with different kind of things. Like, you know, a year ago, I get a call from a guy who needs cash. It's okay. So
he needs an investment.
He has something he has to sell immediately to get cash in return, okay? Because he needs the money right away. So I said, okay, so what are you selling? He says, it's the 2 greatest Wayne Gretzky cards. I said, okay.
Signed or unsigned?
No, this is a PSA 10 1979 OPG Topps.
Signature?
No sign, but it's the Holy Grail. So the OPG one sold in 2016 for $453,000. Okay.
Wow.
And just 5 years prior to that, it sold for $92,000. So from $92,000 to $451 in 2016, and he calls me. And a top sold in 2016 for $205,000. So 2 cards combined sold in 2016 for 600 and, you know.
He has them both.
He has them both, and he wants to sell it to me. And I said, okay, what do you want to sell it for?
He's like 600,000.
Yeah, of course he wants to. I said, I'm not going to pay you that. I mean, you know, he wants 650,000. I said, I'm not going to pay you that, but we talked about it. And eventually he gave me a number, right? And it was still a number. I had to still cough up, you know, $500,000 check to the guy. But we met at the PSA headquarters. Classy guy, total gentleman. We sat down. Transaction happened. The CEO of PSA came, showed us the poster on the PSA headquarters. I think it's in Newport. Of the card is on the wall. It's the most expensive hockey card in the world, right? Okay, no problem. So
And you're a hockey fan?
I'm not a hockey fan. I'm an investment guy with hockey. But I've interviewed Wayne Gretzky 6 years ago.
Wow.
So I like greatness. I like anybody that just goes and crushes it with their game, right? So I buy this card. So I buy the card. I don't think much of it.
1 card, not 2.
2 cards. It's both of them. I bought both of them, yeah.
Wow.
So the other guy who owns the card wouldn't sell his card for $1 million if you paid it to him. So here's what I do know.
2 guys own the card.
Me and the other guy. There's only 2 of us. Okay. You paid $1 million, he won't sell it to you. So that means there's only one in the market, because it's me, because I'm willing to sell it, right? Yeah. So it's on eBay right now. If you go on eBay right now, you type in Wayne Gretzky OPG, it's on market right now for $1 million, right?
Wow.
What the one of them is on the market for $1 million, the other one's on the market for $400,000. So you asked me for a rule of money, I had cash. If I don't have cash like that, I can't double my money that quickly. So we just talked about 3 of them. Money's a game, You need cash because opportunity is going to come up, and it's a doubles game. So if I put
doubles game.
it's a doubles game. Everything about money is a doubles game.
What's that mean?
A doubles game to me is I pay you $1,000. Can we double it in 6 months? No. How long? In 12 months? Okay, no problem. I'll do a double in a year. Here's $1,000. I get a double back, right? So if you take 1,000 and you double it every year, what happens? 1,000 goes into 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 256, 5, 12, $1 million. $1,000 is 9 doubles away from $1 million.
Wow.
Now you take $1 million and see what happens if we double it 9 times. 1 million goes into 2 million, 4 million, 8 million, 16 million, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, $1 billion. $1 million is 10 doubles away from $1 billion.
But how do you find the doubles?
Well, that's the game. That's the part of the game. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the doubles now becomes investment opportunities. You know, what you buy into. Do you start a company where it has a high value, you know, you can really scale it and finding something that can scale? Do you invest into things that are going to give you 6, 8, 10%, or are you going to go play ball and take the risk? That's the game that you're going to start learning that, you know, part of my money is going to be hedged and I'm going to buy some gold because I'm not going to become a billionaire off gold, but I'm buying it because gold is money and something happens to the economy, I'm protected with the gold. But you know what? I'm going to put some of this money in mutual funds because I know long term I'm going to make 8 to 12% on this. I'm fine with that. I might do a real estate deal because long term I may do some money, although right now commercial real estate may be an interesting dynamic because I think Zoom crushed commercial real estate. The commercial real estate model it's been crushed.
Yeah.
And by the way, it may never come back the same way ever again. Commercial
Maybe
real
20
estate.
years from now or something. Who
Oh,
knows?
I don't even think. I think it's gone.
Really?
And here's what I mean. Look, we have this space, right? Okay, you got this space. Did you get it in the last 4 months? How long have you
Got
had
it
it?
before COVID.
Okay,
yeah.
so
6 months before. Yeah.
But if you get this today, right now, office space in Dallas, office space nationwide, companies are looking at their business models and they're just saying, why do I need 100,000 square feet of office space? Why do I need it? But if you go out there and you look at the numbers, you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to do commercial real estate, you know, but if I find if I team up with a investment banker, if I team up with a guy that's managing money, and I go with a VC team, and this is a guy that's, you know, flipping opportunities fairly quickly, and I dump $1 million with him, and within 5 years he turns $1 million into $5 million. That's 5x in 5 years. That may not be a bad idea. So you got to find those, and they're out there, by the way.
Yeah.
They're out there. So Ray Dalio plays a game of doubles. Warren Buffett's a doubles game. All these guys are doubles game. And
a lot of us investing in businesses.
yes, I'm a business guy. I'm not a real estate guy. There are people that are, and by the way, that doesn't mean real estate doesn't work. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for me to say there's real estate billionaires everywhere. Our president is a real estate billionaire. So for me to knock real estate would have no value to it. But for me, I'm more about, I have an idea. What are you guys doing? Me and Tiffany are thinking about starting a marketing company. Okay, how can this thing scale? Well, let me tell you what we got. We got 3 packages. Boom, boom, boom. Who's going to be target audience? We're going to be targeting people in this world. Okay, interesting. How much are they going to pay? We foresee us doing $6 million in revenue within 24 months. What have you done to be able to earn this? I'm a Columbia guy. I'm a this. How much money do you need? I need $2 million. I can't give you $2 million. Can I come in for $100,000? I put $100,000. The next thing, this thing sells for $200 million. That $100,000 all of a sudden became $2.2 million. That's a victory. So those opportunities are out there. You just got to focus. And then the last one I would tell you with the money. So we talked about what? We talked about game.
Money's a game. You need cash. It's a doubles game.
Doubles game.
Yep.
And I'll tell you one more would be you have to be maniacal about being patient. I mean, you have to be patiently aggressive. You know, patiently aggressive. It's so tough to do.
Because you want your money to double now.
Exactly.
It might take 10 years.
Yeah, but if you are willing to do the 10 years, it may double 40 times. It may double 30 times. You know, like when Bezos said, just hang tight. I'm not going to give you dividends. Just trust me on this. Trust me on this, right? And at the beginning, if you've heard the story where he goes and raises $2 million from, he gets $50,000 from 40 people. That's what, $2 million. And he gives them 20%.
Wow.
20%.
He gives up 20% of that
He gives
$2
them
million.
20% just for $2 million. You know what that 20% is worth today? $200 billion.
Oh my gosh.
That's the point. So can you imagine 1994 Amazon gets started? Forget about you put $2 million. Just say you put $50 million.
Wow.
Just you put 50,000. What is 0.5% of a $1 trillion company right now? 0.5%, you're still a half a billionaire.
Wow.
Your 50,000 is worth $500 million, give or take whatever the numbers we're doing right. The point is, that is a massive victory. The guy who put $10,000 and he gave it to Berkshire Hathaway in 1974, I don't know if you've heard this story. You know, Warren Buffett is starting, he says, I'll give you $10,000. Never touches the money. Goes back to his regular job, makes $100,000 a year. You know how much that have you read this article?
No, tell me.
The $10,000, if you go on Business Insider, you pull it up, is worth $780 today.
780
Million.
Wow.
Never did anything to it. So that's the part about patiently aggressive.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. But
So
the
hard to
doubles
do.
get bigger later on, not
Yes,
early on. The
they
doubles
do.
are bigger, you're 15, 20, 25.
That's what Buffett talks about. Just like his successes,
Yeah.
he's lived longer. You know,
Yeah.
he's just stayed around longer to let the money continue
Exactly.
to compound.
Yeah.
And that compounded interest is where it's at. If you want to learn how to make more money and master money in your life, then check out this video right
You
here.
can't just sit there and look at relationships that you never know the potential of a contact. You have to know every contact could take you to some place that you don't know. It's like a movie. You don't know the next scene. You know, so you can't just assume what that contact's going to lead into.
Yeah.